Okay. All right. So safety awareness are individual and collective responsibility. I'd just like to start by saying that, and I've said it already, that what we do as part of, oh, are you alive? Yes, I'm alive. What we do in answering that question is taking in air and sending it out. That is actually what we are supposed to do as part of taking in and sending out air is what we are talking about today, safety awareness. You know, if you look at my cover photograph, I'm sure you all know and are very familiar with the environment on the screen.
Right.
Every day, tons and tons and tons of us, Lagosians and individuals and human beings, we troop out to the streets to eke out a living. And as we go, in a lot of the quarters, especially from where this photograph comes from, you won't recognize it because this photograph was taken a long time ago when the place was still as terrible as it looks. Now, we go out for a living. It's survival of the fittest. If you can crush someone else to be at your best earning rate, people don't care. They just do it because by all means, they want to eke out a living. They want to survive. In this environment, this is an ecosystem with a lot of systems, a lot of mimics, a lot of movements going on. Some of them you can immediately see from looking at the photograph. Some you can't see. Some are happening on the surface. Some are happening inside the yellow boxes. Some are happening under the umbrellas. Some are happening under those shackles that you see there. But what is common to all of us human beings is survival. And for this survival to be sustained, the people who talk about what keeps it going must continue to do their job. So yes, safety awareness is something that must go on. So in this presentation, we're just going to quickly look at how to generate enough momentum for those whose job it is to do this advocacy to continue it more vigorously. We are going to help develop capacity for individual social responsibility among safety professionals, especially, and everyone else that cares to listen. And we hope that at the end of this presentation also, we will be able to understand the size of the safety and health problem in West Africa and in Nigeria and see the need to actually act, to take action right now. Now, why should we bother? Why should we bother at all? We should bother because number one, we are human beings and we owe each other a moral responsibility, a duty of care to ensure that the next person is safe. We owe each other. For me, this is the most important reason for managing health and safety, the moral reason. The fact that I owe you a duty as a human being to ensure that your life stays on because my existence actually depends on yours. We are interdependent and not just between us human beings, we also are interdependent with our environment. We are brothers and sisters to the grasses, to the soil, to everything else, to the plants around us. Because when we breathe out air, they are kind enough to take the air that we have breathed out and then use it to produce the air that we will need in turn to breathe back in. So we have that wonderful relationship going. And we must live our lives on earth to the extent that we are balancing that relationship. We are not just takers, but we're also givers. So that's one of the strong reasons why everybody must get involved with health and safety awareness. We must help every other person to take and give back so that there's an ecosystem balance. Then, of course, the other ones are like the legal requirements, which, of course, is criminal for you to live your life in such a way you don't help. Can we hear me? Hello, am I on?
Yes, sir. You're
Wale?
on. You're on. Yeah, I can hear you very well, sir.
Okay. So the legal reason is that the law criminalizes us if we do anything unsafe to the next person, or at least if we, even if you're not doing anything else, I hope we were able to know at the end of this presentation that not doing anything about others' health and safety is also criminal because you become morally liable if an accident happens from something you saw earlier and didn't do anything about it. You are morally responsible for that accident. So even if you are not doing anything to harm people, if you are not doing so much to prevent them from getting hurt, You are morally responsible for the accidents that they get involved in. So even as safety professionals, whether you are the one causing the accident or not, the fact that you have knowledge about things that are going on which can cause an accident and you're not talking about it, you are morally liable. So even if human law does not criminalize you directly, you are still morally culpable. So even on the legal side, we are culpable to a very large extent. And then, of course, there are economic reasons. If we do health and safety as professionals, it will better our own lives. It will come back and impact you positively. It will improve how much earnings you are getting. It will improve your lifestyle as a person while impacting greatly on the society. So it's important for us to carry out health and safety awareness and advocacy. And I'd just like to quickly talk about it. It's a big problem across West Africa and the rest of the developing world. People are dying in their quanta. In Ghana here, I just took a quick small research about around our little neighbors and ourselves. In Ghana here, the motor traffic transport unit of the other section of the Ghanaian police service told us that 2,330 people died and 13,572 road crashes happened in 2011. They said in all of these, over 19,000 vehicles were involved. And then, of course, this included commercial and private vehicles and motorcycles. These are examples of pictures of things which happened around Kumasi and Accra, and you can see the injuries on even people who are supposed to form the future of that entire area. This is how human beings end up as a result of lapses in occupational health and safety across society. In neighboring Togo, we have heard that road traffic accident deaths reached 1,052 in May 2014. And the traffic accident actually became so numerous in Lomé and generally in Togo that they even stopped counting. So this figure was just very small. Reckless drivers drive at excessive speed, and of course, they have terribly bad roads. So this is the story of the world within and around us. Even in Mali here, at Bamako, Mali, I'm just taking only roads because, I mean, here we have a consistent statistics from across West Africa. In Bamako, Mali, 536 people died in over 6,000 accidents that were reported in 2012. And the director of the Malian National Road Safety Agency had announced this at the conference. Apart from the Radisson Blue incident that took a lot of lives, you remember what happened? Some terrorists locked up a Radisson Blue hotel in Mali and killed so many people that were in there. So this has been serious cause for concern. And then we come back to our own selves here in Lagos and in Nigeria. I'm sure you have seen these other photographs. We see things like this every day. Lagos, Nigeria's population is topping the 200 million now. And Lagos houses have more than 25 million of this population. And 123,000 people migrate into Lagos every day. This data was given to us by Governor Ambode, and this worsens the safety state of affairs because with more hazards, because of course human beings are also hazards, they have potential to cause harm. So with more hazards in the ecosystem, of course the safety problem, the accident problem burden worsens. So only recently, the Lagos State Fire Service made that pronouncement that over 9 billion naira has been lost to fire incidents in Lagos between January and August of this year. For me, that statistic will not happen in 2 years in some other developed countries of the world. And then this was just Lagos State alone. The Federal Fire Service reported that over 5 trillion naira, which is more than Nigeria's budget a few years back, Nigeria's entire annual budget a few years back, was lost to fire incidences between 2013 and 2018. Please note that these were reported cases. The unreported cases may be much more than even this one. So it's a very serious Very, very serious problem. And then we can see that very frequently we have floods, flood disasters all over around us. We have Okada and their menaces with overloads and no helmets and broken down Okada riders. We can see a human being hitching a ride on a waste dump truck that is oozing and spreading bacteria across the street. Of course, toppling containers have become a common narrative around us every day. Then, of course, capsizing boats, leading to a lot of people drowning and so many incidences of death on our waterways. Building collapse, of course, everywhere, all around us. Then fire incidents, major fire incidents like the one we just discussed. You can see our brothers hitching a ride on a moving train. It looks very funny. It looks like a cartoon, but it's our reality in Lagos and in Nigeria. You can see children going to school on an overloaded Okada. This is supposed to be the future. So the hazards that we have are threatening to cripple both our present and our future. Because, the likelihood of these children falling off and getting injured is so high. Don't just take it that, they've been succeeding. Look at it. If at a high speed, one of these kids falls down, and there's another vehicle moving at a high speed behind that Okada, it's a disaster. And then you can see a conductor. This is a common sight, so hanging from the door of a moving bus. These are attitudes that show that as a people, if you were to have a friend in from some of these developed countries, they will see us as monkeys whose level of reasoning is not effectively developed. So, it's a very huge problem. And then, of course, this report was given on Nigerian roads last year between January and November. We were told that we had over 8,000 road traffic crashes. And then, of course, that between January and December of that year, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics said we had over 5,000 deaths. As in over 5,000 people died last year between January and December. And this is on the road alone. So we are in for very, very, very serious problems. This gives us, if you look at it, it's not even 12 people. If you look at it, if you see this 5,000 divided by 12, you see that we're having over about 15 people dying on the average every day. If you divide it by 365, it's like 15 people dying on a daily basis on the average from road accidents alone. Over 59,000 people were involved in these crashes, and of course, more than 14,000 vehicles were involved. In the process, these 5,000 people died, while over 27,000 people were injured in the accident. And of course, well over 27,000 people again escaped without injuries. It's not as if they did not have psychological injuries and trauma from it. So when we say without injuries, we're only talking physical injuries. But of course, there will be psychological trauma that will follow that. If they had goods in the boots of the car they survived from this, the goods would have been damaged and things like that. In all, over 621,000 offenses were recorded during the period, and over close to 600,000, close to 556 motorists were apprehended and penalized for various road traffic offenses. These are huge numbers. I put them here deliberately to show us the extent of damage and degradation that the low level of safety awareness is doing to the polity, to our life. If we had a safety professional, at least a group of safety professionals who say, okay, our own business now is to stop road safety accidents, and they took on this initiative, maybe let's say that year, and did it so vigorously, I'm sure this figure will be much better than this. So we need this advocacy, we need this awareness, we need people who have looked at these figures and held it close to their heart and have come out and are grossly advocating against this thing with all their energy. As if all of this were not enough, COVID-19 joined us here in early this year. He joined us, and since then, our stories have never been the same again. There are still few today, there are still people in Nigeria who do not even believe that there's COVID-19. As terrible as it's been, as devastating as it's been across the world, I have friends in India who had to rush back immediately after the lockdown was eased. They had to rush back because, like the one that left last, 2 of his kids and his wife were already infected. And some elderly members in their family had already died from the same disease earlier on. So it's killing people across the world. It's devastating lives. It's changing the narrative for some people. Schools are resuming now. Some people would not even have school fees to pay for their kids to return to school because of this COVID-19 pandemic. And yet, we have people amongst us who will refuse to take any control measure because, according to them, it does not exist. So there's a great need, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, there's a great need for us to head into this safety awareness campaigning very, very seriously. And one of the reasons why people run away from it is because it appears like work. Like what Wale is doing here now. Some people will see that he's wasting money, he's wasting time, he's doing this, he's doing that. Well, these are all opportunities that are dressed up in coveralls. And it was Thomas Edison that said opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in coveralls and it looks like work. People run away from work. But I must tell us that apart from the golden reward of saving lives, these are opportunities. We can make money, we can program ourselves to make a lot of money from this advocacy. But first, like I always like to say, the major problem is, number one, we ourselves have not realized the value that is in this thing. So to solve this problem,
oh yes, I'm introducing to you Safety Moment with Waliola, where we enlighten, we educate, and we widen our scope on various health and safety issues. We discuss safety as a way of life and safety as a career path. At Safety Moment with Waliola, we discuss various safety-related issues ranging from home safety, personal safety, safety of our kids, safety while we are at work, and other critical safety issues, accidents that happen around us, and we discuss about the investigation and lesson learned. Always remember that safety is everyone's business. We need to be proactive and be aware of the hazard around us so that we can put corrective actions in place. Join us as we battle into the world of safety. Join us on all our Instagram handles, on Facebook, on YouTube, on WhatsApp, and we will surely give you the best. Thank you as you join us.